guys, so I am doing a video on how I started my startup. And for you guys who know or don't know, Perfect Beauty is a startup because essentially I'm creating something out of nothing. I'm starting it up. And I don't know, it's going to be kind of a new series I'm going to be doing, and I can talk to you guys about my experiences as, you know, a female entrepreneur trying to fight my way through everything. And I think this is, again, I mean, I'm used to putting videos out on YouTube, but this is very, you know, I feel like I'm starting over in terms of a YouTube channel because I'm catering to a different audience. I'm going to be judged just as I am on my YouTube channel. And you know, there's a huge fear of failure and disappointing people, right? But I also think that this video log can really impact a lot of people, especially those who really have drive and ambition but have no idea where to even begin. And I don't think that there's a lot of resources out there, like step-by-step guides on startups. And I mean, I know startups aren't step-by-step guides, but if you hear someone else's experiences and someone like me who's very, very honest about things, then hopefully can inspire you to go after what you want to do. And I hope this isn't a means to brag or to, you know, be arrogant or anything about anything. It's just sharing my story with you because I do get a lot of questions about how I start my startup. So does my makeup look okay? I'm just kidding. It's like weird lighting. I'm sorry. The quality of these videos aren't going to be as good as probably on my beauty channel just because I don't have time to like make really good quality videos on either channel. I'm going to sit over here. Sorry. Move the camera this way. Okay. So, how I got my idea for my startup, it wasn't really, I never was like, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur one day. You know, I didn't really know what TechCrunch was. When I graduated from college, I loved technology, and both my parents studied computer science and they program and stuff, and so I thought, you know, I think technology changes people's lives. You know, if there's technology, it can make people communicate faster, it can make people, you know, it can save lives, it can, you know, just make people's lives better. And that's what I love about technology versus really any other field other than medicine, because medicine, you're saving people's lives, technology, you're improving their lives, and what could be better than that? Moving human species forward, right? So I was really into that, but I never was like, oh, entrepreneur, whatever. I always thought entrepreneurs were a little crazy, personally. And look who's talking. So I've struggled with acne all my life. I'll have videos from my other channel about it, but you know, you can see scars, see that on the side, and it's just, you know, it's been, my skin is my biggest insecurity. It's still my biggest insecurity, and it's just because I didn't really know how to treat it, and because of that I'm left with scarring on my face. And when you're, you know, 15 years old and you're trying so many different acne products, and, you know, no guys will take you to homecoming or the prom or whatever because your face looks like a pizza, that does impact your life. And I also grew up the only Asian in Minnesota in like elementary and middle school, so I also just felt so different from everybody, and I just felt like I couldn't belong to anything. So yeah, basically it's a personal childhood void that still affects me today, which might explain my socially awkwardness. I can be a little bit weird. So I've always had that problem, and I started going to these tech events in San Francisco, and I just fell in love with people's passion. I mean, I think if you're working so hard for no pay, you have to obviously believe that your product is going to work and be so passionate about it to forego, you know, a six-figure salary to do something. And I just love that. I love the passion. And I've always had ideas for things, and I always had an idea for something that would help with this particular personal problem I had. But I had no idea where to begin. And I think we always get moments, and I'm a very opportunistic person. That has a really negative connotation, but if I see an opportunity, I go after it. And so when I got this email from my alum school where they had like a pitch competition, it was focused on e-commerce, and something in the back of my head told me to do it, even though I was like, I have no business. I have no product. I have no business plan. I just have an idea that I haven't even thought about for longer than like, I have an idea that's just in my head, not on paper. So what I did was, I remember I was talking to my brother who is 12 years younger than me about different ideas. And okay, this is like an 11-year-old, right? An 11, no, he was 10 back then. So he's a 10-year-old and I'm talking to him about different startup ideas, okay? And I come up with the idea for Perfect Beauty. And it took me a second to think of the name Perfect Beauty, empowering you to feel beautiful. Like, that is like, I figured that really quickly. And so my brother and I, we like, from like after dinner, from like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. he helped me research stuff. And I just had him there because I was so scared. I didn't know what I was doing. So he helped me, like, he Googled like market size, he Googled, you know, like graphics, he made a YouTube video just because he wanted to be supportive in what I was doing. And I remember staying up till probably 3 or 4 in the morning just making the business plan. And that's it. I made a business plan. I put it on a PowerPoint deck. It had lipstick backgrounds, and it was, I think some of the font was in Comic Sans. I'm not even kidding you. It was a terrible deck. But I submitted it, and it was like the last hour to submit it. And 1 month goes by, and I realized that it was selected out of 40 other business plans. And I was like, holy fuck, like, where did this happen? And so I knew then it was a sign. Like, I remember I was still working, so I remember like almost crying, like in like my cubicle. And then I went out and I had to take a walk, and I started calling my parents and telling them it got selected. And so I bought when I got the email, I bought my ticket to New York. And because I was so scared I wouldn't go through with it, that I forced myself to buy the ticket. And I had 3 weeks to pitch. So I was like, what the fuck do I do? Well, basically you do what anyone else does. You sit down and you have your laptop, you have a cup of coffee, and you're against your bed, and you Google Google the shit out of Google. You Google everything. So I went from, you know, what does an investor pitch look like? What do you need in a business plan? How do you even create a financial statement, like, for a business? You know, what language do you code in? Should you do mobile first, or, you know, website first, native, iOS, Android? What do you code in? How many people do you need to hire? How much money do you need to spend? How much do you need to raise? What's your burn rate? You know, discounted cash flow, marketing strategy, traction, you know, everything. I had no idea what I was doing. But I spent, basically, I would work till 8 or 9 p.m. and then I would spend probably 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. just Google. And I just remember that even Friday, Saturday nights, even Friday, Saturday during the day, I would work on research. I would go to yoga. I'd work on more research all till the end of the night, and then maybe make a YouTube video or something. That's it. That's all I did. And I did that for 3 weeks straight. I remember I got a traffic ticket because I was practicing my pitch in my car and I ran a red light. And yeah, I was so afraid. I was so afraid of being laughed at. I was so afraid of not knowing what I was doing. I was like, I'm flying across the country to New York City to pitch in front of 4 VCs in a room of 150 people on this business plan that I just created in a few hours before submitting it, and now I have to prove to them that they should give me money to do this, right? So basically I practiced my ass off. I sent the pitch deck to anybody I knew and everyone I knew and asked them for feedback, and, you know, of course you get a 5% response rate, and of those people, they helped me a lot through it. And when I went and I pitched it, I was so nervous. It was the most nerve-wracking experience of my life. And I think the reason why it was so nerve-wracking was because I didn't know what to do. And I had these, you know, 4 old guys, like, you know, of course, typical VC, right? Old guys, like, listening to me, and it was like all stuff that I created, and it was kind of like fake it till you make it, right? And I was so afraid of the questions they'd ask me. Like, I was afraid they'd ask me a lot of technical questions or a lot of like really intricate financial questions. So I remember on the plane there, I printed out like 400 pages of Harvard Business Review's like Yelp monetization strategy, community site monetization strategy, affiliate monetizations, all that. And I like highlighted and read it on the plane there, and I was just so nervous. But the pitch was 6 minutes, question was like 4 minutes, and when it was done, I wanted to faint. And I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself. I remember when I was walking back from the event, going on the subway in New York, I started crying because I was so proud that I did something that scared me so much, that I was standing up with people who are like in their 40s and presenting something that, you know, that I created. And ever since then, I've realized that if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And if you're scared to do it, then do it anyways, and make it so that you have to do it. So for me, that was booking the plane ticket that day. So I purposely booked it so I couldn't like refund it or whatever. So I had to go to New York, because I could have totally not gone to New York. You know, I didn't have to spend that $800 to go there. But honestly, if I hadn't spent that $800 to fly to New York to pitch it, I don't think this would ever come along. I don't really think so, because I was too scared. But when I left that event and I got like the lowest score, like people had to vote via phone, and I got the lowest score. Like nobody voted for me, right? Not even my parents. So, but I was so proud of myself.